All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening in the American elections, we have with us here in the studio Mr. Raymond E. Wickery. He's a former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade Development. So thank you very much indeed for joining us here in our WION headquarters.
It's always a pleasure to be with The World is One.
Absolutely indeed. Now, this is an election that is being watched very closely around the world. At this moment, the pollsters appear to be favoring Kamala Harris. She's, of course, come in late, so to speak, in this contest. She replaced Joe Biden, but she seems to have energized the Democrat voter base. But a lot of people are saying that this is going to be a difficult sort of a race for Kamala Harris because it's not a done deal yet. She'll have to maintain this lead and go on and win the elections on the 5th of November. What's your take on these pollsters who are saying that Kamala Harris has a lead at this moment?
Well, I think, as you've said in the past, you look at polls not for absolute truth, but basically for entertainment. But the trends are all in the right direction. There is nobody that has taken a poll that doesn't show that Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket has increased 3 to 4% across the board. And if you look at the battleground states, you know we have a crazy system with an electoral college, but the so-called blue wall of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin seems to be holding up. And in all of the other swing states, except maybe Georgia, it's within the margin area, very close. So yes, it's trending that way, but there's still about 18% undecided at this point. And a lot can happen and can go either way. So nothing should be taken for granted, and it's going to be very close no matter what.
Now, this is going to be interesting in terms of what is it that the American people vote for. Do they vote on their domestic issues? There is the issue of foreign policy, and also there's this issue of economics within America. The American economy seems to be growing, but a lot of people have come out and said that an average American voter has perhaps not felt the benefits of a growing American economy in the last 4 years under Joe Biden. And this is going to be a huge challenge for Kamala Harris to prove to her vote base and also for the undecided voters that she can turn things around economically for them. Has she so far outlined the policy that she would implement financially for the domestic audience within America?
Well, there's no question in any great democracy, whether it be the U.S. or India or anywhere else, that when it comes time to go to the polls, with exceptions of absolute all-out war, the economic issues are paramount. In that regard, it seems to me that people have been very concerned about inflation, particularly for food and for housing. And in that regard, Kamala Harris has come out with an expansive program to show that you're going to be able to cut price gouging. She has a great proposal in regard to a $6,000 per new child credit, getting the child credit overall back up to where it was during the pandemic, $25,000 credit in regard to housing, and very importantly, to be able to continue to cap the cost of prescription drugs.
Right.
So I think all of those show that what is happening is that she does have even an improvement upon what Biden has done, and it is building from the middle out rather than the top down, which has been the Trump proposal.
You know, you've been a former Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade Development. Now, President Trump is pretty categorical. He says that his intention is to make America great again. He's taken America on the line of what people would describe as isolationism. When Joe Biden came back, he said America is back and he wants to build links with the rest of the world. Now, looking forward, we still do not know who will be in charge of the White House post the 5th of November elections. How different do you think Kamala Harris would be from Donald Trump, provided either of them end up winning these elections?
Well, I think it'll be very different. As a former Assistant Secretary in charge of Trade Development in the United States government, the kinds of proposals that have been put forward by former President Trump just do not work. He has proposed an across-the-board tariff of 10% on no matter how much of a friend you are, like enemy, or whether you're an enemy. You know, we tried that once before in the United States to build a tariff wall and have Fortress America. It was called the Smoot-Hawley tariff, and we tried that during the Depression, and it didn't work. It made things worse. The fact is that you have to have friend sourcing. You have to look at friends like India and see what you can do to shift supply chains from competitors like China to friends like India for growth. But the idea that foreign competition is bad across the board, that we're just going to be able to do things without interaction with India or anybody else is a non-starter.
Right.
And that seems to be the Trump approach.
It'll be very interesting to watch out for as to how things, of course, play out. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Raymond Vickery, for joining us and getting us that perspective then.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.